It's like a dance, pretty much, you know. But please put these flyers out around campus, tell your people. Unfortunately, Joel's not here. I was gonna ask him about it, but please come, and you can find my information on the Foothill Student Government website if you would like to contact me. Thank you.
Does anyone else have a public comment? I did.
Oh, so all intersections start next week, so they start yeah, thanks.
Ria?
Mentioned that we ended up having a UC and CSU transfer panel this Saturday from 5 to 7 on Zoom. We have 6 panels that transfer to UC. The CSU will be in the evening class. So if you're interested or want to learn more about the transfer process.
Ume?
Transfer Center is having their HBCU caravan event tomorrow. It's from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. in the main quad. Please attend. It's gonna be really beneficial, even if you're not a part of the HBCU community. Because I think they're gonna have like on-spot admissions and also scholarship information.
Is there anyone else with a public comment? Seeing no further public comments, we'll be moving on to advisor announcements. Anju.
Okay, great. I hope you all had a fun Halloween. As some of you may have heard, last week, Dennis, who was supposed to chaperone the seesaw students, had a minor medical emergency. So we would like to, we have a little card here, so if anybody would like to go ahead and write in the card, that'd be great. I'll just start over here. Actually, I'll take it out of the envelope. And then for those that did go to Seesaw, we would like to thank Victoria for her help. She was one of the advisors at Foothill that stepped in for us because Dennis had to leave Saturday morning. So for all of those that went to Seesaw, please write in this card for Victoria, and then I'm gonna go ahead and get this to her next week, okay? Other than that, I don't have anything else.
Dana or Marisa, would you have any advisor announcements?
Just we have the flea market on Saturday, if anybody wants to come and check things out. It's 8 to 2.
And then just for everybody to please get your marketing in at a timely basis. And please double, triple check the information being correct before you submit stuff to help us. If anything, if you want anything out in the newsletter, again, Friday morning, that should be your all's deadline. We can make minor edits, like I can add in a flyer Monday morning, but there shouldn't be stuff submitted after that point. And then, yeah, we've had a lot of club applications, so I'm in the middle of a lot of emails. If you have anything you need to check with me about, like, just come by my office or follow up. But I'm working my way through emails. That's all.
Moving on to Senate announcements. Does anyone have a Senate announcement? Okay, moving on to student trustee announcements.
Not at this time.
Moving on to external shared governance reports. Adrian?
Okay, so I have a report for Environmental Sustainability Action Council. We met on the 26th of October. So one of the things that we talked about was the possibility of proposing, and if the community passes it, passing another bond in 2030 that's specifically environmentally focused. So we could have money for environmental projects, which would be nice. In the meantime, I'm going to make every change we feasibly can now towards sustainability using funding from Measure G, because we're at a series of critical global tipping points, and we need to be making action now, not 5 years from now. So we just need to be doing what we can with the money that we already have. So we're also in the process of like making the term plans in detail to amend our sustainability action plan for the district, so. Yeah, what we can do relies on what studies we can do at the districts and what funding we can secure. So one of those studies that's going on is in Foothill. They're studying what vehicles students are taking to campus so that they can get data like showing the need for additional electric vehicle chargers, because there is a high demand for that. Plus like additional solar panels. So seeing what we can do for that. So we talked about like implementing an energy saving mindset like across the district. So by like studying our meter locations, connections, and how they function to better track and analyze our energy usage. And one of the things that we have found is that like 40% of our energy usage is going towards heating our pool. Yeah, so as there's like our debate about like the gas versus electric, one of the things Isaac brought up was, what if we were just a one pool district and then it would be less expensive overall? And what if we got a pool cover for our pool at Dianza? Because when it's not in use, we're still putting in a lot of energy into heating it, even though it's like only used in the mornings. And because we're also having to top off the pool a lot more frequently than we should be, because it's evaporating out. So if we got a pool cover, we would be saving a lot of energy and a lot of water. And other colleges in the state are doing that, like even for big Olympic sized pools, like Stanford does that. And they're relatively easy to install, to put out, and to go back for practice. So yeah, so see what we can do to support getting the pool cover. It'd be like a tangible step towards sustainability. The other thing we talked about was like doing like as a college thing what we can to lobby like for the government for state decarbonization goals, so that community colleges across the state can afford to upgrade to more sustainable structures. Because again, what we can do depends on what funding that we can secure. So yeah, if any luck before Governor Gavin Newsom like stops being our governor, he'll pass something like that. So yeah, that's what Isaac talked about.
Thank you. Are there any other shared governance reports?
Can I just very quickly, for those of you that didn't know, Dennis is recovering from COVID from a couple weeks ago, and then he was at the conference and he was still kind of not feeling great. So that's what the card is for. Okay.
Jason?
Curriculum committee met on Tuesday, and we continued our close review on history and photography and humanities classes.
Any other shared governance reports? Megan?
So Equity Action Council met today and we discussed how we would work towards accountability and the shared governance. We also talked about utilizing self-reflection, recognizing power dynamics, and anti-racist practices for personal and institutional transformation. We also reviewed last year's accountability action plan and identified IDEA goals to work towards, which are goals related to inclusion, diversity, equity, anti-racism, and accessibility. We also talked about how we're going to measure equity work on campus. Some examples brought up were the Department Equity Sports Teams as well as equity mapping. Also, there's an upcoming event next Wednesday from 4 to 5, which is the Equity and Mental Health Virtual Listening Sessions where students can discuss perceptions of campus mental health resources.
Are there any other shared governance reports? Ian?
Yeah, so RAT met on Tuesday. There were less members than usual, I think, because of some other meeting going on, but we just mainly worked on our program reviews. And after that, we just kind of brainstormed on feedback to give on like the process itself, but definitely.
Asia? So they, in the classified senate, they met yesterday and they talked about the fee budget and then they also talked a little bit about, Measure G stuff and how there's a meeting. And they were trying to see if someone from classified could attend that meeting. It's just like an informational meeting and then they just start talking about, some survey, the classified professional survey, that 20% of them without. That was. I have one shared governance report. Chancellor's Advisory Council met for their first meeting on October 27th, which is a Friday. And we went over introductions and roles and guidelines of CAC and its members, including the role of the council and policy reviews. We also had the first reading of draft AP 2410 policy and administrative procedure. We also discussed enrollment at both Foothill and De Anza campuses. Enrollment is growing by 9% at Foothill College, and I believe about 7% at De Anza College. Both Foothill and De Anza are planning to submit their institutional self-evaluation reports or ICER final drafts, so you can find those on the website and submit any feedback as well. And the last two things they discussed are the sanctuary campus policy to ensure probationary/ICE officials are not allowed on campus as a request from FFOS, and the District Enrollment Management Committee, which is supporting enrollment growth through strategic initiatives to guide colleges through the pilot fund. Are there any other shared governance reports? Moving on to internal DHG committee reports. Caitlin.
Wait, 1 second, sorry, I just typed it and now I have to look for the link it says. Okay. We approved several interns for marketing. We finished up the elections post last night. We market post is done and flyers will be sent out soon, right? Tomorrow morning. Outside displays will be updated soon. Homecoming stuff is in progress.
Asia. The programs committee met yesterday and we approved some interns and we had some environmental sustainability updates and learned that at the VTA forum, they announced that they were planning some workstations in like the workstation.
Like in the next decade. Yeah. There's like four more. There's like four more stations that they're gonna put in, so it's gonna be like rolled out each couple of years from each other as they get it through. So. Like going into the heart of Silicon Valley, so instead of just stopping at very end, there would be part of it. All of it.
And then, and then we also talked about homecoming updates and the research we did for the decoration. And then we also talked about the patrons event. More information coming soon. Okay.
So do you know like the locations of these stations at all? I'm just curious.
Like one in Little Portugal, that was one of the first ones that's gonna be rolled out. It's the one in Little Portugal, and then one like, I don't know, just like imagine like Little Portugal, and then just every couple of miles until you get like San Francisco.
Really? Okay.
So basically from the Berryessa station in like a straight line. Oh, this is okay,
Thank you.
Asia? Yeah, I also forgot that. We also talked about our committee codes and I know we like mentioned it. We'll probably go up in discussion later on in Senate as well if we should add a second environmental sustainability coordinator, but for now we decided to add intern like officer positions into our code. That would basically be like the eco fund coordinator and bike program coordinator, but it would be intern. Please submit your programs code for the agenda. But are there any, Isa?
Finance met on Monday.
And yeah, we actually met this week. And then we approved several interns. We assigned kind of like the intern senator like mentorship thing. So we had like between every mentor had between 1 to 2 interns so far. And then we also discussed possible revisions for the budget or the rubric. But that yeah, we're still working on that. We also delegated some tasks to start moving the finance plan for the oh yeah. And then the budget report for DASG finance is due November 6th. So kind of last call for like programs and stuff that, you know, want to fill that out or request funding. So spread the word out for that. That's about it.
Anna?
SRE met today and we discussed like a recap of fall resource fair and plans to improve and what went well. And we found a lot for both. And then we also analyzed the demographic form, which we had you fill out in Senate last week. And it is, and we have to discuss equity office, but like how to work with equity office, but we'll do that more next week. But yeah, I just wanted to say if you haven't filled the demographic form yet, I would really appreciate if you would. Thank you.
Any other internal committee reports? Moving on to the consent calendar. Can I get a motion to approve?
I move to approve the consent calendar.
A second.
Moved by Chris Blue, seconded by Javier. Are there any objections? Seeing no objections, we'll be moving on to the first business item, which is the institutional self-evaluation report for reaffirmation of accreditation with the Accrediting Commission for Community and Junior Colleges. I believe we have Brandon Bailey to present this item.
Hi, yeah, thank you, President Wong. I'm filling in for Mallory Newell. I'm the writer and editor in the Office of Communications and one of the college staff people who are supporting the accreditation process. I'll just give you a quick kind of a rundown on what the ICER is. As most of you probably know, most reputable colleges and universities are accredited by an independent organization that sets standards for everything from the quality of academic instruction to the availability of student services and the effectiveness of administration. And the Accrediting Commission evaluates each member institution to see if they meet those standards. It's a voluntary process, but it's desirable. It shows the world that we have met those standards set by professional experts, and this helps other people and institutions recognize the value of your degree or certificate or the courses that you've taken when you go to transfer. So DeAnza currently is accredited, and there is a 6-year cycle for renewing accreditation. And for the last year, DeAnza has been engaged in developing a comprehensive self-evaluation report that we'll be submitting as part of that process of renewing our accreditation. This process has been led by the College Planning Committee, which is a shared governance group that has representatives from major constituencies across campus. And a little more than a year ago, with the approval of College Council, the Planning Committee asked a variety of other governance committees and offices to begin working on the initial drafts for various sections of this report. Those drafts were completed over the summer, and the College Planning Committee used those to develop an additional chapter of the report required by the Accrediting Commission, which is called a quality focus essay, and a couple of improvement plans. And these address areas where the college would like to improve. So at the same time, my office, the Office of Communications, has been assisting in copy editing those drafts and assembling them into a single document, which we'll be formatting for presentation so that it looks nice. But the initial edited drafts are available to everyone. They're posted on this website that you can see. And the Planning Committee, has been sharing them with various groups such as the DASG on campus to ask for your review and feedback. You're invited to look at them and use that form that's on the page to submit any comments or feedback that you'd like. We had initially set the deadline for feedback to be this Friday, but I think the presentation to you, the DASG, was initially going to be last month and it had to be postponed. So to provide a little more time, we're going to keep that forum open for another week, and it'll stay open till a week from Friday. So that'd be November 10th. And then just to let you know kind of what happens after that, after we incorporate any feedback, a final draft will be submitted to College Council for approval by the college. And then after that, the final report will be submitted to the District Board of Trustees. And then we submit it to the Accreditation Commission in December. They'll review the report, and there will be an evaluation team of faculty members and administrators from other reputable colleges that will be appointed to review the report, and they'll have time over the next year to ask questions from us, request more information, and then they will visit our campus next fall, so in about a year, and they will meet with individuals and groups and be able to ask more questions and gather whatever information they need to presumably at the end of that process, officially reaffirming our accreditation for another 6 years. So that is pretty much what I wanted to lay out for you. I worked once before when I first came to De Anza on this process in 2017, and it's a very extensive, comprehensive process. A lot of people put a lot of work into compiling the information in this report and then to answering the questions from the evaluation team. But it's a worthwhile and productive process. And I'll leave it there, but I'm happy to answer any questions if I can.
Thank you. Are there any questions as of right now? Seeing no questions, we'll be in contact with you if we have any concerns. And I also encourage all of our senators to look over this report and submit any concerns or comments if necessary. But it seems like we don't have any questions. So thank you for coming and presenting for us.
Okay, great. Thank you for having me, and appreciate talking with you today.
Yeah. We'll be moving on to the next business item, which is the CSAW report. So this is the conference that 12 of us went to over the weekend for the California Community College Student Affairs Association. So could I have everyone who attended the conference up here to present?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is everyone who went. As you can see, we have Aaron, Ariana, Benjamin, Chris Blue, Hannah, myself, Ria, Ume, and Burinchi from DSG. And we have Dan, Joel, and Will from ICC, as well as our advisors. Actually, well, I'll be presenting some of our takeaways from the conference as well as the workshops that we all attended on Saturday. So this is what I put in for 2 of my workshops I attended. The first one was Anatomy of an Effective Meeting. And basically it went over the structure of a student government meeting and how to effectively run it. And my biggest takeaway, which I plan to be implementing from this meeting, is that all members in a student government, as in senators, can only talk 2 times until everyone in the entire room has already shared their comments, and then only afterward can they respond with any further comments. And
Keep it together, girl.
and this is also from another workshop that I went to, which is called Networking Blueprint. We basically just worked on elevator speeches for our roles, and yeah.
Oh, wait. Okay, oh, sorry, okay, so the workshop I attended was debate protocol. So like I took a lot of takeaways, like a lot of things that honestly DASG doesn't follow. So like a few key takeaways for like the protocol aspect is that one person should speak at a time. The speaker must be recognized by the chair. I guess we do a good job of doing that. And then comments are confined about the current issue. That's a big thing that we have to work on, at least in my opinion. And that's like a big thing that the workshop, like the person who presented the workshop also stated. And I think one of the most important things that I hope we can also add to this Senate is a point of order. So when a member thinks that the rules of the assembly are being violated, one can make a point of order statement or raise a question of order, thereby calling upon the chair for a ruling enforcement of the regular duty. So for example, if someone is violating the rules or maybe going a bit off topic, yeah, our chair should kind of like validate it, so yeah.
Sure. Okay, hi everyone. So I did the workshop Understanding AB 963 Requirements for Civic Engagement and Voter Empowerment. This workshop was focused on student civic and voter empowerment and how to increase student engagement, both as registered voters and active participants. And there were 6 components to AB 963, such as the coordinator, which is to appoint a nonpartisan civic and voter empowerment coordinator. I thought this was very important because every single California community college is supposed to have a coordinator. And when I searched this up on De Anza, I cannot find a coordinator. So if this is true, then De Anza needs to fix that. Otherwise, we can be in big trouble. Not us as a student body, but as De Anza. The coordinator is also in charge of the action plan and the all-in challenge. The all-in challenge basically empowers does not empower them.
No.
Anyways, all-in challenge empowers colleges and universities to achieve excellence in nonpartisan student democratic engagement, which if you see on the bottom, we actually got a presidential commitment signature for, which I think only a handful of California community colleges have. And this is also a lead policy-making body of government tasked to coordinate and monitor and evaluate its programs. Each school is also required to host at least 3 events centered around civic education, voting, and registering, with one event that has to be before, at least 30 days before each November general election. Emails are also supposed to be sent out to the entire student body, by the student body, about required voter registration, voting, and civic engagement. It needs to be also on the academic calendar, and we as a student body are supposed to be promoting civic engagement and voter registration throughout the entire year for our social platforms. This was very important because if you go on the De Anza website, you find nothing about civic engagement and voter empowerment, which is very concerning because as a student body, we should be promoting this at all times. And it's also very important that De Anza is held accountable if they are not following their part as well.
I have a question. Doesn't this come under like what VITA does? Like, do they focus on civic engagement at all?
That I do not know. I talked about it with the advisor who was hosting it. Apparently the coordinator is supposed to be like on the I forget what it's called, with all of the like faculty and staff, and you can search them up on the website. Dictionary, I think is what it's called. Directory. Okay. Right, that. But yes, it's supposed to be labeled on there as the civic engagement and voter empowerment coordinator, and it does not show. Cool. And then also, I did growing your student organizations, community starts with you. This workshop was to demonstrate how student leaders can learn to grow their student organization and how it truly starts with ourselves. I put a little italics because the way that the advisor was talking about it, they mentioned only clubs. However, this can also be applied to our other student organizations such as DASG, Mentors at De Anza, HEPAS, International Students, etc. Some notes that I took was, you build it, they will come. So basically saying that if we put in the hard work and we get these conversations started, we put in the events and we take in the time and the funding as well, eventually students will start coming and they'll start asking questions, but we have to do the tough part, which is actually building some type of structure. And building on that structure, we should also simplify the process as well. So kind of similar to what last year did with changing the intern and senator, ICC with their clubs, all this needs to be simplified so students aren't intimidated about joining DHE, mentors, or ICC. And they also said to keep the website updated because a lot of students use the website, and the advisor for this workshop was very prominent on making sure that's happened. So making sure that all clubs, for example, it shows that if they're active or inactive. DHE should have all of their senators on there. The website should be reflecting our current structure and our responsibilities. And with that too, they also said collaborate with other student organizations, which is kind of what we've been doing already, just collaborating with mentors, HEPAS, or any student organization on and off campus. And then how we can achieve our goals, be inventive, promoting among peers, providing ideas that align with what's trending in the student community, and just continue all the outreach that we already do. And then for social media, this was interesting because they provided examples of what they've seen other community colleges do. So one community college did a Q&A on their Instagram. A lot of colleges use TikTok as well. One of them used a mascot of Finsta, which I would love to do. A day in the life of a senator, 60-second recaps of what's happening on campus. I just wrote the exam. I know. And then one of them also did a podcast as well. So if you remember last year, Lavos did a podcast, very similar. Some community colleges also do a podcast as well, just going over again what's happening in the student, what's happening on campus basically. And don't overthink it as well. Usually the simpler, the better actually. But thank you. That was a lot. Oh.
So I went to the spy game workshop with Aaron, Chris, Ben, Hannah, and Ariana. So this was just a game. We had to all be in groups and we had a collective goal that we were working towards. We tried to copy a certain pattern. But then there were spies within the group trying to make us not win. So we had to try to figure out who the spies were while also getting to the end goal and seeing who could win. Some things that we took away from this workshop were ways that we can create effective teams, but also ways that we can look for people that might be trying to sabotage our teamwork, whether it's intentional or not intentional. So some things we discussed in our group discussion was like some ways that others can be sabotaging the group work. So some things we came up with was like not speaking up. Even if you have ideas, sometimes you don't want to speak up or you're too shy, but that can actually hurt the group if you're not speaking up or you're saying your ideas. We also discussed how like individuals within that group might have their own goals that they might work towards. And because of that, they might be taking away from the group with the group's work and activities. And then we also discussed about how individuals who don't actively participate and help out can be hurting the group collectively because by not participating is putting more pressure on like other individuals within the group and they're hurting the overall outcome. And then just like passively participating or just not caring at all about the work also hurts the group. And then so we came up with some ideas for what effective teamwork could look like. So within our games, in order to check who the spies were, we did cross-checking. So one person would go find information, we'd cross-check them to make sure it was correct. So that's something we worked on. And then building trust. So if you trust everyone within your group, then you can work better as a team. So you don't know, like there's no spies, you all trust each other and have that level of trust. And then just communicating with one another and effectively like knowing what everyone's doing. If you're not able to do something, and communicating it with your group and making sure you know you're on top of everything. And just making sure you hold people accountable. So if you do see someone like as the spy or someone that's not holding up to their role, just making sure you speak up and talk to them about it. And then we also went to Leadership by Dr. Seuss. This.
Yeah, so for this one, well, we essentially read a bunch of Dr. Seuss books.
Got rid of that.
So we kind of split up into 3 groups. We had commitment, congruence, consciousness of self. We split up and we had like the tiny skit that we had to do, depicting each of these qualities. So there are like 7 C's, like communication and a bunch of things, just like how leaders are, and that's 7 C's and stuff. So the end of it, essentially, we all figured out that, well, we came to a conclusion that you kind of need all 3 to be a good leader, but a lot of people start from one of them. And I was in consciousness of self, so I definitely think consciousness of self is super important for it, but that's one like one. Yeah.
I think I was in the commitment group, so we read Horton Hatches the Egg, which talked about how an elephant was sitting on a tree watching an egg, and everyone was basically making fun of him, but he was really committed to his role, no matter like who said anything about sitting on an egg, and then it ended up hatching, and it was like a half bird, half. So weird. But it just basically talks about how like certain leaders are like super committed, and no matter what anyone says, if they make fun of you, if they like try to doubt you, you'll still stick to that role and you're always committed. Did anyone in congruence? I don't think.
What is that?
I don't think any of us were in congruence, but.
So we need more congruence and DASG in general to compensate. Yeah, that was, yeah.
Nice. Congruence is like similar.
Oh, okay, give a question.
How do you suggest we increase our congruence within the issue?
So congruency is defined as essentially it's doing what you preach. So it's like just because you are where you say you are, it doesn't mean your actions show that. So do you walk the talk also refers to thinking, feeling, and behaving with consistency, genuineness, authenticity, and honesty towards others. Congruent persons are those whose actions are consistent with the most deeply held beliefs and convictions. So do more, talk less. Probably do what you talk. Yeah. What is happening?
Actions speak louder than this.
Yeah, actions. Okay, I would like to talk about 2 workshops. So one of them, the first one was Beyond Our Trauma. I went to it with Ariana, and we both. Oh yeah, Eric, yeah.
It was too traumatic, so I left halfway.
Oh, it was supposed to be the opposite. It was not. It was not. It was not. But we learned a lot about our own personal biases and how they can sometimes come like it can kind of butt heads with our leadership style, and that we should try to eradicate that. Obviously having our human aspect as well, understanding that we are human, but the people that we are representing are also human, and they have their own issues, and everything that happens to them happens for a reason, the way it does for us. But we coming into these leadership positions, we knew that, and we came at the end of the day as well. Like we took that sort of hold onto our student body. An interesting word I learned was damage imagery, which I did not know before, which is basically the use of images and words to create a narrative of disadvantage and or pathology towards a population. So just using what you already know or what you have assumed of a specific population, and having that cloud over your leadership, which is something that we do not want to do. Something that we also discussed was that our trauma does not define us, and our courage does. So as leaders, I think that goes towards the leadership aspect. Do you want to add anything else for the trauma?
A phrase that stayed with me was the culturally informed. Was it culturally informed?
Yes.
So it was basically like
approaching everybody, or everybody that approaches you or that you approach. And with like the thought or knowing that they have also had so many experiences, and they that you have to be conscious, that you have to be conscious and empathetic.
Yes, yeah, so yeah, empathy was a very big thing that we talked about the same way we did with our training. And then the second one I want to talk about is the resolution writing. I think that this was very beneficial for our committee because like our committee has, I mean, END and SSF have kind of a history with passing resolutions. And so I understood that there are 5 parts of a resolution, and we kind of broke each part down. And we talked about phrases other than whereas, because a lot of resolutions just start with whereas, and that's like a whole, the second picture is like a whole list of them, and then just breaking down 5 parts of the resolution and how we can stay to the topic, which is very important. And then I made my slide mostly about pictures, because I just wanted to like show you guys that although it was like a leadership conference, we also, I mean, from my experience at least, I had fun. So I put like different pictures of us doing random things, and then we also had like a Halloween party costume night thing on the second day, which was pretty interesting, and that is our picture over there. And there was a photo booth there as well. So I do really recommend you guys, if you are interested in going to any conference that we may be going to afterwards, because it was definitely a learning experience too, but also it was enjoyable. Oh.
Alright, so for our takeaways and recommendations, as shown by Aaron, we believe that to send 2 advisors and have max of 2 people per room so that we can get optimal sleep and optimal rest. We should believe that 12+ people is like the right amount, because this was a fun group to go with, and we honestly bonded throughout the trip. We believe that, I mean, there should be right protocols for help. And then also do your homework before and sleep well, because you can't like do homework while at the conference. There just isn't enough time unless you stay up till like 4 a.m. do like grinding away. That's not possible. But talk to people, especially with similar positions. Like I've spent like a whole dinner talking to like the Foothill ICC chair, and really connected with him there, and like are looking for plans in the future of how like to bridge the 2 schools. But honestly, like that was really amazing. Network as much as possible. I think most of us, if not all of us, like we talk to like different schools, not only in our region, but like also in other regions, to get like I guess more feedback and like new ideas and fresh ideas. And just like realize like how much more we could do at our own college. Take more photos and eat more food that is cooked correctly. What?
That's pizza.
So that's Jesus.
And you won.
And
Round of applause for it.
So this is Hannah. This is Maria. That's Maria. That's Yana. Richie and Will. It's Chris straight out of the shower. This is straight out of the shower hair. That was me trying to close my luggage. That's Richie. I don't know what Richie's doing. Remove that as we've discussed. I don't know what this was going on over here. Don't know what's going on here either. It's us in an elevator. And that's them heating up food at
4 a.m.
No,
not at 4 a.m.
Oh,
max 12.
Max
Yeah,
12.
so we went to that. Yeah. Oh yeah, and then
Oh, this one.
And then
there you go. Oh.
You carrying us during the.
Going out paid for.
Yeah,
And
that
then
is
you all
exciting.
exchange your sweatshirts and stuff. All get some kind of return.
So, we kind of did, but we have things left over as well. It was on the last day and it was really early. in the morning. Yeah, it was, yeah.
Yeah, but big shout out to Dennis for arranging this, like, yeah, would not be here without Dennis. Okay, thank you.
So did anything here, because I know some of you were not doing well for the afternoon, second keynote speaker, but who heard Charles Sakaki? He's the president of Longview. He was the keynote for Saturday.
Oh.
Did you, was he good?
The speaking was a little one?
Yeah, the Aloha.
Yeah,
He was cool. Okay, good.
I was the first, speaker about.
Oh, that's good.
Okay, so that's our last business item, so we'll be moving on to public comments. Are there any public comments? Adrian?
So there's an event tomorrow, well, it's like the end of the event, it's been going on all week, but it's like Neil Quad, or like Dia de los Muertos. So there's like, when it's like 10:30 to 1:30, they're gonna have like snacks and refreshments, and they have like friend dogs set up, so if you have anything to put for like any past loved ones, please go check that out and maybe get some snacks.
Are there any other public comments? Chris?
HBCU is gonna be doing their caravan tomorrow from 10 AM to 1 PM in the main quad. So please show up if you can.
Any other public comments? No. Are there any advisor announcements?
If the card's still going around, can you all sign it and then I'll take it?
Where did they get access ones?
I didn't get the dentist one.
Oh, you have to sign it?
None of us, go ahead, you're on there.
Oh.
Are there any advisor announcements from the advisors online?
Thanks for your support, everyone. Sorry I couldn't be there the whole time on Saturday and Sunday.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, moving on to Senate announcements. Are there any Senate announcements? Ian?
Mini flea market will be on Tuesday, November 14, from 10 AM to 2 PM. I dropped it a lot earlier in the Discord, but I didn't like add anyone. But we do need more volunteers and you can get free hours, so please sign up. The specific spot is like empty right now, that kind of needs to be filled, because it's pretty important, because that's when performances are happening. So yes, and performances by KDC at 10:30 and MBA at 11 AM. Yeah.
Thank you. Are there any other Senate announcements? I have a couple Senate announcements. We currently have some vacancies for senator reps on college council. So if anyone's available weekly from 2 to 4, please let us know so we can add you. Second Senate announcement is that the survey for class modality we worked on with the college is out. So if you all could go to your emails, you should have received an email from the college. And if you could fill that out, that would be great.
Yeah, academic senate.
Oh, yeah, academic senate.
So academic senate meets 2 to 4 Monday weekly. It's a very, very good committee. To learn more about the school and like the faculty. So if you guys are interested, please let me know. Yeah, it'd be very fun. No, I'm serious. And okay, I'm talking to myself, so fall info sessions, please sign up. I need Tuesdays and one Thursday. I don't think anyone has signed up for those 3 slots yet, so please, guys, I'm begging.
Two more Senate announcements for our November 29th meeting. I don't think anyone wants to have a meeting that day, so we will be having a sort of meeting with just announcements. And then we're also planning some sort of bonding event for that day. So please let me know if you have any ideas. Adrian?
What's the subject of the email from the class modality thing? Because I'm like searching for it in my emails and not. For the survey.
Yeah, the subject is how do you prefer to take your class, to take classes? And Janza just sent it out at like 12 noon today. Okay, any student trustee announcements?
Okay. So I'm glad that everyone had a great time at the conference. It was great to see your presentation and whatnot. I do want to bring up that there was a video of Jesus because he left a blue on him. And if you're aware, within our religion, Jesus, peace and blessings be upon him, is one of our prophets, and that is considered to be a little bit inappropriate, actually very inappropriate, showcasing him in that way. So I don't think that was anybody's intention here at all. I know you all had great intentions, just having fun, great time, but just take this as a learning moment. But yeah, I just wanted to bring that to attention because it's not just Muslims, it's also Christians as well that consider Jesus' blood upon him to be very near and dear to our hearts. So I just want to say that.
Moving on to introduction and approval of prospective senators. Is there anyone in our audience that's interested in running for the role of elections commissioner?
I am interested, however, I know one of the eligibility requirements is attending the administration meetings, and I have like a class that's literally exactly when that's held, so I'm kind of, I am unable to attend. Or yeah, so yeah. Sorry?
If the vacancy is not so.
Yeah.
Would you still like to put your name down in case you might be
Sure.
able to?
Should I just do that to you?
Okay, good. Like come up here.
Okay, yeah, I can do that.
Like your full name and what number you might need. Like centimeter or should yeah. This centimeter. Oh, that's the first centimeter. Thank you. Okay, moving on to adjournment. I adjourn this meeting at 4:59 p.m.
Where are you all gathering to take pictures? We need.
Did everyone sign the contract then?
Oh my God.